It's basically an hour south of Savannah.
Your volume goes a bit low there, Stephen. I don't know if
So,
anybody else is
okay.
noticing the volume drop.
Hey, Stephen, what's your gain? I see the exposure and the gamma.
Zero gain.
Zero. Okay.
I don't ever use gain. What's that?
And the camera is the Apollo, right?
Yeah, the player one Apollo M Max. Find my volume.
You're doing 8-bit, right? Yeah.
That's as loud as my microphone gets. But anyway.
What's the typical frame rate that you're getting, Steve?
Talking. Can anyone hear me?
Just about.
Poorly.
Yeah.
It's not very good, Stephen.
I'm sorry,
No,
man.
it's not.
I get 125 frames a second easily with this. But since I'm running 2 webcams and broadcasting it to Facebook and to Zoom, I'm running about 25 frames per second right now.
Okay.
But if I weren't doing all this other stuff, I'd be getting 125 frames a second. And I'm using a 10-year-old iMac.
Well, I see Alexandra made it. Popped in from
Hey.
vacation.
Yeah.
Howdy, howdy. Nick, Bill, how are y'all?
Alexandra, are you on the Jurassic Coast?
Alexandra.
Yeah. Do you want to see my haul for today?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey,
Oh, wow. Very nice.
That one.
Very cool.
That laminate. I say that the hubby found that. Quality and not quantity.
Hey, Nick.
Hiya. Hi.
Panic.
Hiya. Oh, wow.
Good morning, all.
Hi, Bill.
Hey, Bill.
All I'm seeing here, you guys in small print and Steve in large. He's hogging the whole thing again.
Yeah, I'm just sharing a screen. Let's see. I'll stop sharing. There we go. Hey, Nick.
I was only teasing you, Steve.
Yeah, man.
At least
Your audio's a
good
lot
time to
better,
look at.
Stephen, with the video off.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me try that again. I turned it up also. So let me share again.
Good
And
now.
I'm talking at the same volume now.
That's
Yep.
better.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
good.
Better.
That's better.
Alexander, glad you made it because I already ran out of stuff to talk about. Is the hubby with you?
That's Nick. Now I see Nick.
Hello. Hiya. Good to see you. Oh,
Hey, Alexandra.
my dog's with me.
Okay, so I don't know how my volume is, but welcome to the March Solarchat meeting, yo. I don't know why we're seeing somebody's curtains. Hey, now we're seeing me. This is Stephen Ramsden. I'm your friend in the guy that runs trust and everything. So everything's going great. From what I can see, the forum has been very interesting. In my opinion, with the guy that spoke last month. Funny last name. Who's that on there? He's been putting up some really great images. So we kept going.
It's very hard to hear you, Stephen.
Yeah, it's very hard.
Yeah, it's cut out again.
Yeah. Ralph's been having a really good run with his weather, and he's been really delivering some fantastic animations. I think. I thought he was going to be here this morning. I'm not sure. Something must have happened, but yeah, he's had a really good run through the last month since we're on. It's been good to see his animations. I think.
Maybe he's still asleep. and
Well,
hasn't
it's 4
woken
o'clock
up.
here where I am. It's 5 o'clock where he is. 4 o'clock where I am. But he's about 900 k's away from me, so he's sort of inland and southwest of where I live. I live on the coast, and we've had just really dreadful weather. So my imaging has been really affected dramatically. So I've had to just grab whatever I could whenever I could. But yeah, no, I think he's kept the forum up with a lot of really good animations, I think. So, and we were both lucky. We both caught that X 6.37 flare. So we both got really good animations of that, which we both put up. And we've got this guy from European Space Agency now who's actually sent over. We were trying to figure out how to get nearly 1 terabytes worth of data across to him on a very slow upload from where Ralph lives. And I sent my data down to Ralph, all the surf files. And he sent this guy from the ESA. He sent across his. He said, look, in the interim, I'm going to send you guys a hard drive. He sent over a 4 terabyte hard drive.
Sweet.
So Ralph is filling that up at the moment with animation data that he's taken and the animation that I took of the X flare, and that's going to go over to ESA, and whatever they're going to do with it, they're going to do with it, and then they're going to do some sort of scientific evaluation of it. So
That's pretty
That's
pretty-
phenomenal.
Fantastic.
I know I can't. Yeah, so
Very
It's great.
exciting.
Okay, so
it is. I love that part of it because I for quite a number of years we had a team called the Backyard Observatory Supernova Search, and we that's how I met Fran, by the way, Stephen. Greg and I hosted Fran over here for a while when she came over, and after all the debacle, but anyway, yeah, we got to work with a lot of professional astronomers just by the fact that they came looking for us, and similar things happened with Ralph. So it'd be interesting.
Are they going to tell you what they're going to do with it, or are you just not going to know?
Well, they are. One of the things that was talked about was something to do with coronal rain. So they're looking at that aspect of it. I don't know what else, but yeah, this guy's been really good in giving us some information. But I think at the moment they just want to get the data and see how well the data will fit what they want to do. One of the things that they've suggested that we might want to do is to lower our see we our images were we were doing animations every 30 seconds, so 30 second gaps in between. What they've suggested is that we might want to go down to 6 seconds, and
Wow.
that then means a massive amount of data because these are surf files that we're recording, so we're going to end up with a lot of data. So they're going to see what they can get out of the 30-second stuff that we already had, and then yeah, we might have to increase the data rate.
Peter, how did they learn about it? Did they come through Solarchat? Did they see it all there?
It's possible. Ralph, and it's a shame Ralph's not here because he was one who was contacted. But Ralph was posting his animations pretty much on just about every solar place you could find on Facebook, and they found him through that. So whether it was partly through Solarchat or whether it was just because it was out there on Facebook, not entirely sure, but I certainly was through Facebook anyway.
I think I remember from last time when he was speaking, he seemed to be implying it was from Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had the other microphone. Now, would you consider this to be a usable volume, Alexander?
A little bit choppy, Stephen.
Yes.
Okay, well, I give up.
It seems to fade in and out from decent to poor.
Yeah, sorry about that. Anyway, I'll let y'all do the talking. I'll just show the sun.
Good now.
Well, that's
Good
Oh
great.
yeah,
now.
the sun was brilliant.
Yeah, some look. It looks
Don't mind,
we
I'll
all
just show
like
that
looking
while
at
we're
the.
talking, and if Alexandra and Sean are both co-hosts, then they can turn it off if you need. And I'll just mute myself now. You've heard enough of me anyway. The fundraiser next month. Empty your wallet.
Bye.
I'd like to be able to see the sun, but it's been overcast, rain yesterday, and snow intermittently blowing through today. So I haven't accomplished a whole lot in the last almost 3 weeks. My father passed away, and then not long after that got kind of put to bed, I came down with 5 days of kidney stones. So I haven't been a very happy camper, but back on my feet again now. So there's supposed to be some clear weather first of the week, so we'll see if I can get out and test out the little portable rig I got to take to the eclipse to carry a camera and telephoto lens.
Yeah, so I had a question of how you guys thinking of taking pictures of the eclipse? What are you doing? White light, HA or H alpha, calcium?
I'm gonna take my lunt and I'll just have it hooked up and do like I did for the annular and just hit record periodically, or I may even try and automate it to do it on its own. For totality, I have no idea. I have a DSLR that I might just point that direction and get ready to just hit the button a couple of times and then just walk away from it because I don't want to try and fiddle with it too much and miss out.
Now, do you see the corona in H alpha or you don't?
I would assume no, but I'm not sure, to be honest.
You do not, Alexandra?
It's too faint, isn't it?
No, I don't think so.
It's only white light.
It's just in visible light, isn't it?
Can you see it through a Herschel wedge then?
I would have
Is that
thought
going to cut it down too much?
You would have cut it down too much
Okay.
because you've got to remember George is looking through his coronagraph. What color is he using? It's some kind of green light, isn't it?
Yeah, it's iron, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
I can't remember exactly 530 or whatever it is.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, specific iron line.
But he's obviously using the full. He's not cutting anything out, because obviously the occulting disc is cutting out, like the blinding part of the solar disc, and then you're just seeing the residual. And I think that even if you've just got slight haze in the atmosphere, he can't see the corona. So it has to be really, really clear. So I would have thought you just don't want to put hardly any filters in the way. Otherwise, you're just going to cut too much out, I would have thought.
So if you do H alpha, then you have to have something in kind of like visible light for the totality.
Yeah, but you'll see the prominences in totality anyway, won't you?
Yeah.
So Alexandra's the expert. I mean, the 2017 eclipse, your images, Alexandra, are superb.
Wouldn't say
well, I think so.
superb.
Yeah, but better than mine because I messed up a bit. My portable tripod thing started going wild for some reason, so I was panicking trying to get back on the sun. Whereas you had your DSLR set up, and yeah, I mean that worked out really well. So I guess you can give some hints and tips on how to do it.
I think that I was lucky in the way that, somebody recommended, well, it was Rupert, said to make sure you've got a modified DSLR that you're taking images of the total eclipse with, because it lets in more hydrogen alpha light, you know, more in the red. If you've got like a normal DSLR, they've got like infrared and ultraviolet filters in the way, which cut out a lot of that red hydrogen alpha. And so I think that, yeah, all of my images are a bit weird in normal light because they seem to be like really ultra red and ultra green. But actually, when you were looking at the sun's disk, it seemed to like the hydrogen alpha prominence is popped.
Mm.
Yeah, I've
So I
got
think-
the modified 60D that I'm taking with Sigma zoom lens. I'm gonna probably run it around 400 millimeters to make sure there's room for the.
So that
rover
should
to
be a
fit
good
in the
one.
frame. Well, I've taken some full disc images just handheld, but I will have to set it up tomorrow. So I've got a little Skywatcher tracker mount that picked up used, so I got it in my possession yesterday. So just using a white light Vader filter for the partial phases, and what I did in Nebraska. Hopefully I keep my glasses on when I'm focusing, because that was my number one problem. I wasn't quite sharp on that. So everything I would take calcium K, I would take H alpha scopes if I was traveling by land, but everything I have to take is going in packed in carry on or checked luggage. And if I have some clothes to wear for the vacation, that will be good. But I can't take all the equipment and run around in the same set of clothes for a week.
Yeah, I think if you've got like a white light filter
Under
on the
lock and key at the getting it all on lock and key at the resort. There's a little safe in the room like there is in all the resorts.
Sure.
So you can throw your wallet and passport and stuff in, but I can't fit a lens this long.
Sure.
Stupid thing.
How about you, Sean? Where are you going?
I'll be a bit northeast of Bryan. I'm going to be in Waco. The place that we're renting is not in the path. We're just outside the path and going to have to drive into the path because all the places we were looking at, the VRBO rentals were even months and months ago were too pricey to stay in the path. But I found a neat place. There is a Mammoth National dig site that's going to be open on that day. So we're going to go set up near Columbian mammoth, fossilized Columbian mammoth bones. So that'll be kind of fun to set up near.
So it's Texas?
Yeah, in Texas, right.
Waco's Texas, right?
Waco, WACO, that's right. Just so we'll pass by, Baylor University is in Waco, and at their university, at their football stadium, they're doing a big event there where they're charging like $20 a head to come in and all this stuff. And we're going to drive right past it to go to this mammoth site to try and set up. So our plan is to get up early that morning, even though the eclipse doesn't start until a little after noon, I believe is the time, and totality is at like 2 o'clock or close to it. We're going to just try and get to that place soon as they open so we can get situated. They're not charging anything extra. I think it's only $5 normally to be at the dig site. So that's totally reasonable for us. No super high price just to stand in somebody's driveway. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yep.
And
So
then
is it-
Anybody else touring out to get a look?
I was just going to say, is it only our US friends that are actually going to see the eclipse? Is there anybody here else from anyone
I'm
else?
going to, believe it or not, Brian, I'm going to Montreal.
Ah,
Mexico is going to see
People
it.
going, Alexandra.
We'll see, because it's just on the edge of the, path, but it's within the path. And, we kind of like try to do, because we love Montreal, we've been there before. So what we're going to do, we're actually going to do a long weekend. We're going to go on Friday Saturday, Sunday, visiting museums, going around and everything. And hopefully, if the weather, is good, we'll do Monday the eclipse and then come back Tuesday. But, I saw people in 2017 from our observatory that went all the way to Nebraska because the weather was supposed to be good and everything. And it was horrendous. And they just got a glimpse of the eclipse. So it's always a little bit of a, bet.
Yeah, we were really fortunate in 2017. Alexandra and myself and Mark went to Silverton, Oregon, just south of Portland, and the weather was absolutely superb. It was a bit iffy the day before, a little bit hazy, and the day after wasn't great either. But on the day, it was absolutely superb. Even with the forest fires, so we had a great time. But
anybody from the UK going, Alexandra, or no? Still no, not this time.
Michael's going.
Yeah, Michael's going. Michael.
Yes, sorry, I'm joining late.
Oh, there you go. Speak of the devil.
Yeah.
We're just describing where we're heading to for Eclipse Day.
Oh, cool. Okay, yeah, no, I'm going to Dallas. Yeah, myself and my wife Denise. So looking forward to that. So I've only had some time to practice on the sun. I needed to reappear from this cloud. It is absolutely unbelievable here.
So do you already know how you're going to shoot or which?
I'm thinking I'll use the same setup as last time. When I went to Wyoming was it 2017, was it? I had a laptop linked to DSLR with a little timing program that automated the timing sequence. So I was able to create a HDR image of the corona. So I'm thinking I'll go with the same, especially given that we're approaching solar maximum. We're not a year or two off it. So I'm hoping there'll be quite a good corona from it.
Very nice.
Let's see. But it would be nice to get a bit of practice, that's for sure, between in the next few weeks.
Stephen,
Is
are
anybody
you
going to?
Oh, sorry.
I was just going to ask if anybody's.
I'm going to be in Atlanta with Calcium, H-Alpha, and White Light filming from the driveway and live broadcasting. And we are going to have about an 80% partial there. And,
Oh, so you're not going to see the full?
No, I'm not interested in that anymore. I've seen so many of them. To me, I like seeing it in any phase. I know everybody says you should only go for the total, but I've seen a bunch of them. And I gave away all the glasses anyway, so I'm going to enjoy it from Atlanta, and we'll have some live video going. But I know everybody will have a good time here. I know Sean's going to go up and do it. So I have noticed how exorbitantly overpriced everything is for the Eclipse. I purchased a Mylar film filter for my Canon birding lens, just to go over the end of the lens so I could take a few pictures just for fun, really. And the last one I bought was $79. This one was $299 for the same filter. 5-inch Mylar piece of crap, made out of cardboard.
Well, you just need a sheet of A4 bar film,
you can't buy a
just...
sheet in the United States.
How can you not?
Film, Rainbow Symphony ran out of film in September of last year. And because Daystar, Lunt, Mead, not anymore, and Celestron are all selling sunglasses now, there was a nationwide film shortage. They just got restocked. And this is Rainbow Symphony, the largest supplier in the world and our sponsor. They just got restocked with film 2 weeks ago in the middle of April. Wow. Because it's so short, because everybody is selling them now. And the standard price here in the States is $2 minimum. And they're selling online for $3 to $10. And these are from retailers. These aren't from just people. The individuals on eBay are already selling for $20 a piece, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't have any, and I have 100 pair that I'm holding on to like diamonds, against somebody trying to rob me. And it reminds me of 2017 when I had 80,000 pair in the solar van. You know, it was worth $10 million 2 days before the eclipse. And 10 seconds after the eclipse, I had about 2,000 left, and they were worth nothing. I couldn't give them away. But
too bad. It's too bad, like, you get stoked for the Bader film filter that you'd ordered, because like I ordered the 5-inch to go over the
that's what I got,
this,
the 5-inch
zoom lens, and I didn't pay any more than like $130 Canadian for it.
Yeah.
And it's a Kendrick branded one, so
yeah. You couldn't buy any paper anywhere here because the Brazilians wanted me to send them a bunch of paper film for some project they're doing down there, and you couldn't buy it. There wasn't any to buy. Anyway, I was trying to switch off and go over to my AirPods that I'm wearing now that have normal volume, and I'm sorry about that headset. There's a lot going on here. I wish you could see all the crap thrown all over the yard down here. If Natalie was here, she would be very upset with me because
Well, certainly the sound is much better now, Stephen.
Yeah, well, I put my little AirPods in and connected them. I've got 4 Macs running in front of me and an iPhone and an iPad and 2 mounts. I'm going to set up the C14 because, you know, Celestron sent me all this auto guiding stuff to test out the Star Sense or something auto guider, and I plugged it in and was doing a live broadcast last time I was down here, and it didn't work. I couldn't get it to work right, so they got kind of miffed at me for because I was live broadcasting and it just kept messing up. So anyway, I'm going to try it again this time. So I've got stuff scattered all over the yard. But I wish you were all here because it's absolutely beautiful. Every plant in this yard is blooming with something, and all the warblers and the songbirds are coming in now. And I threw some apples out in the yard when I got here yesterday, and I checked last night, and there was 5 raccoons sitting in my front yard. They were just holding the apples, you know, eating them like a corn cob. And I shined the flashlight on them, and they looked at me like I was crazy. They said, "What are you looking at, buddy?" And they would carry off the apples into the woods. It was pretty fun to watch. So anyway, what I was saying earlier is the fundraiser is in April, and this well, I don't want to say anything about that, but we're going to Kosovo, and I've already donated a big telescope and 2 mounts and all kind of other stuff for the observatory opening, and I hope that goes well. But the fundraiser, a lot of it's going to go for educational material to be handed out there, because even though they've got the observatory built and basically are set up with telescopes, they really don't have anything inside the building, you know. So me and I was hoping that Corey Lee was going to go with us from Celestron, because he is the classiest guy in this industry by a long shot. But he's sending somebody else, Kevin Kawai, who's one of his assistants, and Robert Reeves, the moon guy, is going to go, because they're also going to do nighttime stuff. But we're going to be over there for 3 days in June, and that's going to be basically the culmination of this nonprofit. You know, if my legacy is anything, I want it to be the Solarchat Forum, and basically Alexander and Mark do everything for this, and the observatory in Kosovo, and then the Brazilian program, which is fantastic, but they never get any press because none of them can speak English. So anyway, that mount sure is tracking rock solid. That little cheap AVS mount. I haven't adjusted it once since we started.
I actually thought it was a single image. I didn't realize it was in live.
No, it's a video.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
you're seeing must be lovely. I was just wondering if you could increase the, you know, like the exposure so we can see what the prominences are, whether there's any smaller ones. Or...
Yeah. How about that?
Whoa, too much. Oh, so there's quite a nice big one on the west.
This is the Player One camera, and it's not nearly as sensitive as the Point Grey. The Point Grey I can adjust much finer, but the Player One is either, you know, everything or nothing. I can switch it over to calcium too, but it would take me several minutes to do that.
It's
Is that the
lovely.
533? Is it?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Is that 533 mm? Like some is ZWO 533 mm? The camera?
Which chip is
Oh, I
in
don't
the
know.
camera, Stephen?
I don't know.
That's right.
I leave that to all you eggheads. It's the Apollo M Max camera. I just plug them in and hope they work. Sorry, I don't go into all the details.
Yeah, that's right. I'll look
The
that up.
Apollo
The
M
Apollo
Max is a IMX 432.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
9 micron.
Yeah.
Is that the
Okay,
wrong
same
camera
as
for
what
me
I'm
to be
using on the
using?
ZWO.
Yeah, well, Sean Wang that started Player One worked for ZWO for years, and they had some falling out or something, and he started his own company. So that's where Player One
Okay.
came from.
Hmm.
And he's sponsoring NEAF, the Northeast Astronomy Forum, which is coming up this month, right? No, next month, April. And I'll be up there also, April 19th, 20th, and 21st. I'll be pimping Solarchat and running the outdoor solar star party on the lawn out there. Hopefully it's not going to be snowing. Eric Roel usually shows up for that. Remember him?
He's coming?
He's usually there.
Yeah, yeah.
And a couple other guys from the forum have been there before. Yeah.
I'm planning to go down as all things in life fall into place properly anyway.
Right. Yeah.
Usually see Franco there and
Yeah.
Eric and
Franco
Raider and a few others as well. So it'd be good because I haven't been down since prior to COVID.
Yep. I'm gonna find that high node solar guy and force him to give me another one. He looks just like John Lithgow, the actor. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, the high node solar guy's name is Jim, and he looks just like him.
Last year there was also John Palladini that came.
Very good. I was there last year. This will be my 15th year at NEAF. I don't know why they keep inviting me, but I guess I just stand around and talk about the sun outside, and I guess it's because I'm so handsome. Because it can't be my knowledge of the sun, because I don't know anything about the sun.
Do you go with solar telescopes, Stephen, or do you give talks?
I have done all of the above. I used to drive the van up there, and they would park it inside the show with lights all around it and everything. And I would set up all my telescopes and cameras outside. So I'd have 6 telescopes and 3 imaging computers outside, and that was a lot of fun. And then there was some issues with liability for the auditorium. They didn't want the car in there unless I took out the battery and emptied the fuel tank, which I couldn't do because I had to drive it home. And then there was some issues outside with the electrical needs for all my imaging gear. So it's gotten to now where I show up and I go to the vendors that sponsor me and I demonstrate their scopes outside, which is what I've been doing, except all of my sponsors went out of business. So, Mead was my H Alpha sponsor, and they don't exist anymore. It's Orion, and Orion doesn't do anything with nonprofits. They don't have anything to do with any nonprofits. So there's no more H Alpha sponsorship. And I wish I could tell you what's coming up in about 30 to 45 days, but I'm sworn to secrecy. But there will be another H Alpha company sponsoring our program.
Nice.
And I'm
Sounds
not allowed to
interesting.
mention who it is.
Oh.
I think you will be very, very happy once you see it, and you'll never guess who it is anyway. But
Wow.
for now, we don't have any H Alpha Scope sponsors, so I'll stand over there with Celestron, Team Celestron, and just pimp their products. And plus, Corey Lee that runs Celestron is just an awesome guy to be around. So I look forward to that.
Nice.
So I'll be at NEAF and in Kosovo. If somebody wants to come to Kosovo with us, come on. Beautiful country. And I tell you, I told you I wasn't going to talk the whole time, but I always do. Kosovo is the most patriotic American country I've ever been to in my life. They are more patriotic by a long shot than Americans in the United States. They love Americans, and they love military veterans even more. And so when I go there, my money is no good. No one will let me pay for anything. And they have a really, really, really big debt of gratitude to the United States, I guess, for helping them survive in the last war. So it's a lot of fun to go there. And that's what we're doing. And I will mute me again and let Alexandra take over with her wonderful accent, because I'd rather listen to her than me.
Well, I was going to ask you, Stephen, are you going to do like a live broadcast from Kosovo, or are you going to send us reports back onto Solarchat each day of what you've done and photographs and everything like that, so we can see what you've done? Because I'm sure everyone would love to know.
Yeah, and that's always been my plan when I go there, but we have never found a stable internet in there to use. It's a third world country. So the last time I was there, I did all the updates with my iPhone. So if I had service, there's no Wi-Fi or anything. It's all cellular service. And if I have service, I will do just that.
Yeah, because we'd all love to see, like daily updates of what you've got and photographs and stuff.
Yeah, so I hear what you're saying. I need to be more communicative with the group, and you're right. I've been hiding out of late for various reasons, but I'm hearing what you're saying, Alexander, and I always do what you tell me. So,
Stephen, can you get a SpaceX connection from there, or?
It's possible, but I can't take anything with me, and it all depends on what they've installed in the observatory. Wi-Fi is not common there, but it does exist in some places. So we're hoping they have the observatory will have working Wi-Fi when we get there. But if not, it will have to be over people's phones. And I can do daily updates and stuff, on Solarchat. But if you knew the story behind this place, it's just absolutely fascinating. And Pranvera and her family were living in a hole in a mountainside in the 15 years ago, fearing for their life. And I mean, really fearing for their life. And her dad's a teacher, a high school teacher, and her mom died from COVID. She's got a sister who was killed in the kitchen of their home. Russian soldiers invading their farm that they own, and then from all that, they somehow survived, and she's now getting her doctorate at University of California in planetary geology, and it's just incredible. It's an incredible story, and all of us who support Solarchat or the Charlie Bates program are the ones that made that possible. Everyone else likes to take credit for Pranvera, but Pranvera would have never been noticed or brought over here if it hadn't been for us and our donors paying for some equipment for them. So we did one thing good. I can guarantee you that.
Yes, but I expect there's an awful lot of young people that you've sparked an interest in who have gone on to do astronomy as careers and everything like that, but you'll just never hear about it. But I bet there are a lot of them.
I'm not a very good bragger, and my wife tells me the same thing all the time, that I need to start publishing what we're doing, because there's 10 more Pranveras out there in 10 other countries that have done just as much. And I hear what you're saying, Alexander. It's just that I really don't like to brag, but I need to, because we've made a big difference. There was 30 people doing this in the world when we started, and now it's everyday occurrence. You see somebody new on Instagram, somebody new on social media that's doing this, and I think that's because of us. I think that's because of what we did to normalize this hobby and make it welcoming. So
well, yeah, I think it's lovely to hear these stories, because it gives hope and motivation to other people and everything. And that's certainly something that, we're trying to do. Well, I'm trying to motivate the BAA into doing is more outreach, because I think it's really important. And certainly using, like the work that you've done, Stephen, as a model. I think that, the BAA with, all of the resources that they've got, could do an awful lot.
Haven't been a very good model lately, and I apologize. I've just been going through some identity crises of late. I'm at that age where I'm not going to be around much longer, and I was just trying to figure out, what have I done? I mean, is any of this worth it? And what am I doing? But hopefully, I'm coming out of that phase. I apologize.
Definitely worth it, Stephen. There are a lot of people that have been influenced by you.
I think this solar eclipse and all the money grubbing, price gouging really had an effect on me, and I really did not like it. And I was really trying to bury my head and stay out of everything and just go away. But I hear what you're saying. Thank you for saying. I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, I think we'd all second that, definitely, Stephen.
Yeah, what's it all about? How am I doing anything? That kind of thing. I'm not fishing for compliments at all. It's just within me, I'm going through some different thought processes about what I should be doing and what I am doing. But I hear what you're saying, I think. Go give me a tissue.
One of the
crying.
One of the interesting things on that, Stephen, that I found, look, I came into solar. I like everybody does. When I was young, I used to do solar projection, all that sort of stuff. I'm going back a long, long time. And then so from an astronomy point, then solar sort of got left on the back burner because for some reason or other, well, I guess there wasn't much gear around and things like that to do solar years ago. But the interesting I've found since and I've only really been back into doing solar astronomy for perhaps 3 or 4 years at the most, is that a lot of people that I talk to who are doing astronomy are not doing solar astronomy because they perceive it in a number of different ways. One, it's an old person's type thing. It's for when you retire and you've got time to actually look at the sun. I get this a lot. It's very expensive to get into.
That's the one I
so,
get.
So a lot of you don't tend to find. And look, I'm on a couple of other different groups here in Australia. And I put a lot of stuff up like Ralph does on these groups, and they all love it, but none of them really like the feedback is, it looks like a really expensive part of the hobby. It doesn't seem to fit into the mainstream part of the hobby for a lot of people. Maybe that's changing with some of the things like C Star, that you could use a C Star to do stuff with the sun if you have the right filter. But how do you see that? Do you guys experience that as well? Is that the same, that people tend to think we're older people?
People don't get into it in the United States is because astronomers are so uninviting and exclusionary in their personal habits, and the way they greet newcomers is horrible.
Yeah,
I think that's the number one reason why people don't get into astronomy or solar astronomy in the United States.
Yeah, solar astronomy particularly.
And the other one is because those same astronomers, that the big time well-known people don't do solar astronomy and have never done solar astronomy, but they show up when there's an eclipse, and all of a sudden they're the experts, and that kind of bothers me too. But astronomers in this country, you can go read Cloudy Nights, and you can see how new people are treated. They're treated like they're stupid, and they'll never be as good as you, and you're wasting your time because you're never going to be as good as me, and how dare you attempt to get into this hobby. And it's really every astronomy club I've been involved with in the US was the same way. It's all over 60 white guys. There's no women, there's no minorities, there's no anything except this same guy who's pissed off about everything and very exclusionary in their personal habits. I hope to change that, and that's why I started this program. That's why I started Solarchat, because I was treated so badly on Cloudy Nights as a newcomer to the hobby. I said, well, screw you guys, I'll just start my own forum.
Well, Stephen, I'll tell you a quick story. So I'm getting ready to set up to take my telescope to my yoga studio in about a month.
Hey.
And they announced the class during class last week. And one of the people after class walked up to me and said, did you used to take your telescope to the square in town? And I said, yeah, I sure did. And she goes, I've looked through your telescope before. I brought my kids over to look through it, and they enjoyed it so much. So, and that's the telescope you gave Madeline. So it's out there doing good.
Yeah. And I know
So there
that.
you go. People do remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
So
And
it's all good, and we're the past two eclipses, and I'll do it again for this eclipse. I set up my gear and have Charlie Bates stuff out. I've given out Charlie Bates glasses that I've gotten from you to people, and I'll set it up, let people look through it during the eclipse, during the annular eclipse. By my guess, I think 250 people came through and looked through the telescope during the eclipse.
Yeah, in 2017, we had 8,000 people at my telescope in the library in Hart County,
Nice.
Georgia. 8,000 people came through, and it was just me and 3 telescopes, and everybody had glasses.
Nice.
It was a great experience, except for the people that were taking 50 glasses and going to the Walmart and selling them for $20 a piece. That was the only part that wasn't that great. But yeah, it's nothing serious, and I'll get over it. I'm just having a little bit of a identity crisis of late. So,
Stephen, there will always be
But,
people who will try and capitalize on something they probably don't even fully know or understand themselves, right? So it doesn't, it's not specific to this. I think we've seen it in a variety of fields in recent years in particular. So just, I think we'll just stay focused on what we do and not worry about what others are doing.
Yeah, that's always been my desire, my attempt. But you got to remember, I'm the public figure for this, and I get just constant emails from people, some of the dumbest shit you ever heard in your life, and I get a lot of good emails too. But of late, it's just there's these. Well, I don't want to go into it any further. I'm working on it, and we'll take care of it. I want to do good. I want to leave something good. I want to leave it better than when I got here, and that's what I'm trying to do.
But going back to Peter's question about in the past, like 10, 15 years ago, we had the Coronado PST, and it was brilliant. Everyone bought one because they were only like about £500, really affordable.
Right.
And it just brought solar astronomy, right down, in price, so that everyone could enjoy it. And it's a shame that people forget about the Coronado PST these days. I don't know why people just ignore them and don't buy them anymore. It's almost like they've just forgotten and fallen by the wayside, and yet they're still a fantastic little scope.
They're more expensive now. They used to be $500-600. Now they're $900.
Yeah, they have doubled in price, which is a shame.
And I'm not even sure if they're still being made. But they may be. Orion owns Meade now, and they're still using the Meade brand, but I don't know that anything is being made anymore for the Coronado line. In Mexico, I don't know whether they're actually making scopes or not. I was under the impression they were selling off stock that was already in existence and not making any more of them.
What about the Lunt 40? What price is that?
Yeah.
I thought that was about $800. I thought it was under 1,000, but approaching.
Right. So they're still
the same people
a
that are
nice
saying it's too
entry
expensive
level.
are going out and spending $1,500 on a guided, 9-inch or a reflector or something. The it's too expensive people just haven't looked, because all of the hobbies that expensive.
Yeah, the Lunt 40 millimeter is $750.
So it's still a good little entry level scope then.
Yeah, I had to wait 9 months for my 9 months.
Daystar really changed everything when they came out with the Quark. They made it unprofitable for anybody else to make anything under $2,000. The Daystar Quark is the cheapest way you can get into solar astronomy, and it's not the cheapest way. You have to have a telescope to use it. But
yeah, but it's also
United
terrible
States-
quality.
they are terrible quality. In the United States, whatever the cheapest thing is, it's going to sell. That's going to be it. So that changed everything, and it's not worth any of these companies' time to make a PST or a Lunt 40 anymore because they can't compete with Daystar. So they put their research and development into the $2,500 to $5,000 range solar scopes, and enough people are buying them so that they don't need to change. I think it's a great hobby. I mean, I don't understand why everybody isn't fascinated with the sun, and they should be, because it's the most important thing in the universe to your survival. And we are directly came from the sun, and the only reason we're alive and exist is because of this star. And we're sitting here looking at it. And like I used to say at all my lectures, I could go to the Walmart down the street and ask every single person in the entire store what the sun is made of, and no one could tell me the right answer. It's absurd.
Really?
It's crazy to me that this isn't the main hobby in astronomy, and I'll never understand that. But that's
the lack of understanding of the importance of the sun is no different than the general public's lack of understanding where anything they rely on comes
that's
from.
exactly right.
Because where's your food come from? Grocery store. Like, it's just mind-boggling that people are. Like, since the end of the Second World War, there has been such a disconnect as the generations have been raised further and further away from, knowing where food comes from, how energy is produced.
Right.
Where's the electricity come from? Well, you just flick a switch on the wall and the lights come on. But they have no idea that, they hear about the disasters of, Chernobyl or something like that. But fundamentally, the general public is completely ignorant of their food, water, energy, anything to do with the important stuff.
Exactly right. And that's been part of the feelings I've been having lately too, is I really was hoping that people were going to be smarter and things were going to change. But and it's also election season in the U.S. again, which is the worst time ever. Having to listen to all that nonsense, The Amazon delivery guy just drove up.
Hey, with solar eclipses like the one that's coming up, obviously vendors are going to make lots of money, and they're selling out all their gear and all that sort of stuff. Does Solarchat see an influx of people after that? After an eclipse, do you generally see a whole heap of new people?
We did not last time.
How could we best use that?
We did not last time, and I'm not sure why.
Okay.
I don't know. I should have had our website on the glasses I gave up, but I didn't. And these are all things I need to learn how to market myself better. I need to get Andrew McCarthy to come over and run all of our marketing, because he's about as full of shit as they get, but he has so many fans. That's what I need to be doing. It's just not in my nature to do that, but I need to learn how to do it.
You need to be doing a TikTok video every day,
A
Stephen.
TikTok. I need to do some, some twerking.
Yeah.
You need to bring Alexandra over to Kosovo as your media support team,
Yeah, Alexander and Nick possibly can dance in some cages or something behind me, holding their solar telescopes. Yeah. The full of shit people have won, and the people that just quietly do things have not won. And that's also been bothering me a lot, because, we're behind every one of these people. Our forum and me personally are pretty much behind this entire hobby now, and all of these people starting and doing this. And it's just amazing to me how, it's just totally forgotten. Once they get a little fame, it's like, yeah, I did this myself. Like Alan Friedman, who basically made up the entire processing technique that's used in solar imaging. And I got in there with him early on, and I did a little bit of it, but he's basically responsible for all of it, and nobody's ever heard of him anymore.
Yeah, I haven't seen him for a while, actually.
Yeah, he was at NEAF last year. He's an older gentleman. I mean, he's a class act, and he runs a greeting card company. He designs greeting cards for a living. And he's the guy that's never been heralded or never had his never really been thanked for what he did, but he basically developed the entire Photoshop and processing portion of this hobby, and it's still used today.
Oh yeah,
Andrew
because
McCarthy puts out these images that look exactly like Alan Friedman's images from 2006.
oh, I don't know, that one that you showed recently as an example didn't look anything remotely nice.
No.
Alan's
And
do look lovely.
Alan's photos are perfect. They're
Yes.
beautiful. They really portray the beauty of the star perfectly.
And he does
but,
beautiful artwork with it, and he shows it as artwork, but the artwork is still like genuine, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
It is. It's the
It's
sun
beautiful.
in its raw natural beauty. It's not been changed in any way, but you can tell that it's art. He does it very subtly and very beautifully.
That's exactly right.
And he's a nice guy as well.
Mm.
He is a very nice guy.
Yeah.
He's a very nice guy.
So, Stephen, just changing tack a little bit. How far are you from SpaceX? You know, the launch facility there. I'm just losing my.
291 miles.
Sorry, what was that?
I am 291 miles from the launch pad 39B because I film rocket launches from here all the time. If you look south from here, if you look on a heading 190, you can see rockets launch from 39B, and I can film them easily from here. You don't actually get the rocket. You get the flames and the jet coming out of the rocket, and then you get the jellyfish, and then you get the boosters when they come back down. I've done it before, and I've published a couple of them.
Okay.
But I'm 291 miles away.
Post some, put them in the Sunlit Earth part the next time there's a decent launch you can catch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I've done it.
That'd be good.
There may be one in there.
Okay. But what about Boca
yeah,
Chica? Where's that?
Boca Chica, that's about 700 miles west of here in Texas.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah, it's on the other side of the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah.
But we did have one that launched at Boca Chica, a secret military mission that launched there and flew right over our house here in the marsh. And a bunch of neighbors filmed it and saw it, and they were all asking, what the hell is that? And nobody knew because it wasn't SpaceX, because SpaceX would never come this far north. But we did have a jellyfish go over about 3 weeks ago right here, and it turned out it was some kind of military mission.
I heard there was a secret launch for the Solarchat forum.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. Except I was able to debunk that because I'm the guy that runs the Solarchat forum.
But obviously you would deny it. Isn't that the whole point of keeping it secret? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how often do they launch these rockets then?
They come off every 2 or 3 days now. Last week we had 2 of them in the same night.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. And you can easily see them from here. Like I say, you can't see the rocket itself. You can't read the writing on anything, but you are getting the entire exhaust and the fire and the jellyfish and everything else. So,
wow.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I published a photo of the last one of the rocket passing in front of the Orion Nebula. That was just a fantastic photo. I couldn't believe it didn't go Andrew McCarthy, but probably because I didn't talk about how great I was when I filmed it. I just put the photo out there.
Now, we actually can see some of the launches even from Connecticut. When they launch, we see them going up. It's
there's a facility in Virginia that launches Wallops Flight.
Walnut Island.
Yeah.
Actually, they kind of like a friend, kind of like supporter of our observatory, called me and sent me a video. And he said, I think I saw a UFO.
Well, technically it was an unidentified flying object, but it was unidentified because of their stupidity.
So I said, that's a launch. So you just witnessed a launch and you were able to actually capture it, which is very cool. So
you guys are welcome to come here and watch them. But you have to go out in the on the edge of the marsh. I don't have a south view. South is that way. And so I have to drive down one of these roads and go down a dirt road that has a south view over the marsh, and it's always night. So you have to have somebody with a flashlight looking for diamondback rattlesnakes and hogs and alligators, because this is no place to be standing around anywhere at night. Let me tell you, I won't even walk through my own yard at night here because there's so many things that are dangerous. So Alexandra, you and the hubby, come on over, and we'll we'll go.
Okay.
We'll put the hubby out there for bait, and then you and I can watch. You and I can watch the rocket launch. It's routine to have hogs come up behind you or alligators in the water near you when you're standing around here.
So there goes the plan for a camping trip for all of us to head over and see some six launches. Yeah,
you guys are more than welcome to come here and camp. I got 40 acres. You'll find a spot, but you better have a really strong tent, because in the middle of the night you're going to get woke up by something with teeth.
We'll take turns. You know, if I get 8 hours, Alexandra and Nick can be on guard with shotguns, and then we'll cycle it. You know.
You laugh, but that's what you would have to do if you tried to sleep on it.
Night vision goggles and
yeah, exactly. That's all.
The hogs are bigger than I am, and I'm surprised one hasn't walked by yet behind us. But so we're at our hour, and
so Stephen, the next chat meeting is going to be what, the day before the eclipse, or
is it the second Sunday of next month?
Oh, right. So nobody's going to be around, are they, really?
Maybe reschedule.
Is that the second Sunday?
Yeah. The 7th.
So Monday is April 1st.
The 14th is the second Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what
we should be settled home by the time Sunday rolls around.
Yeah.
We'll do it for the 14th then.
And then everybody can share their pictures of the eclipse.
Yeah, you're right.
Let's call it the Eclipse Wrap-Up Solarchat meeting. How about that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Good.
Yeah, a big eclipse festival.
There you go. All right. Well, thanks for signing in, everybody. I'm going to try to get some actual images done before it goes behind the trees.
But yeah, it's beautiful sunshine. Thank you.
See ya.
That's good. See everybody later.
Bye, folks. Have a good one.
Bye.
Take care, all.